right, guys. Now today we're going to talk about discard. All things discard. What is discard? What should I be doing with it? I know some people end up throwing it out, but you don't actually need to throw out. We can actually make it with recipes, use it in recipes, which is a great way to use all that flour that you've been feeding your starter all this time, this flour water mixture, right? You don't want to just throw out cups and cups and cups of flour and that mixture. You can actually do stuff with it. So the discard really is, like I like to say, spent energy. Like it's spent food for your bubbly, gassy, yeasty mixture going on. It's spent. It's done. There's not much left to it, but it still provides a wonderful resource to go ahead and start making some of this stuff. So as you're accumulating it in your fridge, you're probably getting enough now where you can go ahead and do something with that. And the reason why you have to discard and feed your guy every day is because it needs new food. So that's kind of like old food that we put in the fridge to store until we decide to go ahead and do something with. So I have a little ebook that you guys can just go ahead and download. It's for free, of course. And it has my favorite discard recipes that I like to do when I have discard. Now, you're not always going to have discard in the future. And so that's where I alluded to it before. There's a difference between your discard that you have now and then discard that you have after you get your bubbly, active yeast stuff going. Right now, it's just kind of spent. It's just flour, water. It's not that exciting, but it's still, we still want to use it up and make something with it, which is great. In the future, when you have discard, though, that is going to be your active sourdough. And you can take any of that discard and put it into any of the future bread type of recipes and stuff like that. And then once it hits some new flour water mixture, it can go ahead and start doing the job of what the yeast is, which is to, like, you know, to rise and proof up your bread type of things. So here is some of my favorite recipes that to use the discard now or in the future, it doesn't matter. And sometimes the recipe will say, you know, discard or starter. It's all the same stuff. Just grab what you have from the fridge. One of my favorite ones I came up with was the sourdough drop biscuit egg breakfast thing. It's such a long name, but I didn't know what else to call it. But that is such a hearty meal. You make this drop biscuit in the bottom of a pan. You bake that. You cook up some sausage. You put the sausages on there. You scramble up some eggs, put the eggs on there. You top it with a bunch of cheese, and you put it in the oven. And it's so filling and hearty, and it's really delicious, especially because if you're using sausage. And it's just a really great one to make. I usually put it in about this size of a cast iron pan, but you can put it in, you know, glass or whatever that you guys have. But then you can also put in bacon on top, and you can do veggies. It's really great and versatile, and it gets rid of about 1.5 cups of discard. Another one is your traditional discard waffles, where you can use up 2 cups of starter, which is great. Discard starter is the same thing. You add in some of these other ingredients, and then you go ahead and just make waffles. You can also make, it's the same thing for pancakes too. So pancakes or waffles. So that's a really good one to go ahead and use up that discard. Another one you could try is the sourdough naan bread, because it doesn't need, naan is a flat bread. And so what discard is not going to be able to give, at this point, give that rise to the bread. So these are like all these type of flat type of things. So a naan bread works. If you like corn tostadas, I absolutely love them with my carnita meat that I do. That is, you can do a sourdough corn tostada. That just makes it softer and more pliable, which I love. Of course, you have sourdough tortillas recipe too. So get up a taco night. You can turn these tortillas into pizza, super easy. And that uses baking powder to kind of give it a little bit of a rise. Okay, so then there is your discard muffins and your pie crust, which I love. My pie crust says to leave it out overnight. You can leave it out overnight and then make your pie crust the next morning, or just go ahead and do it that same day. It's really versatile. And then another great one to get rid of the discard is your sourdough crackers. It's extremely easy. You just take all your discard, you put a little butter in, you put a little spice in, like, you know, flavor, garlic, salt, whatever. And then you spread it really thin onto parchment paper on a pan, and you bake it. And then you've got crackers for snacking or for soups. They're usually best that first day, so don't go making 10 cups of starter, or they're just good the first day. So just do that the first day. So usually you could do 1 cup or 2 cups I've got the recipe in the ebook that you guys can download. I'll dive more into discard differences later on. You're not always going to have discard because you're going to be able to actually, instead of discarding it to your fridge, you're discarding it to a new recipe. So you don't always have this discard to get rid of, which is a nice thing as long as you kind of keep up on baking. So when you feed your guy every day, you can either create another bread product or you can put it in the fridge and then go either that. But I'll dive into that a little bit more. I want to take baby steps and just kind of deal with what we're doing now, right? So it doesn't get overwhelming and then you abandon the situation, because I want you guys to really conquer this sourdough, because you will be so proud of yourself, and then you'll have fabulous bread stuff at home, right? So it's a cool thing. So go ahead, download this book. Tell me which ones that you end up trying and what you end up liking and stuff like that. I'd love to hear some feedback. There's a million bazillion discard recipes out there, and so if you don't like any of those, go ahead and just do a little quick search and, let me know what you guys are finding out there for discard. And usually you have to use the discard in the fridge within 2 weeks. Give or take how if it picks up any mold or anything like that. But again, the mold is very obvious. I have let it sit in there for about 2 weeks and it has been fine. So, and you will see hooch come onto your discard in your fridge as well. You can either stir it back in or go ahead and just dump that liquid water part off. So, all right, happy discarding. Let me know what recipes you guys try, and good job again.